Welcome. Terra on the Bench is a place of dialogue, a place to dive into meaningful conversations in self-improvement, experiences, and exploring the lessons of life. While they may be odd and plain unimaginable, they still bring excitement, humor, and awakenings that have great power to motivate and inspire others.
Today's topic is going to be about being mean. Ask myself, was I mean today? I feel like I was. I feel like I was pretty mean today, but I think it's okay. If we look at the context, I wouldn't say it was warranted, but I do feel like it made sense and it's normal for me to have done that. So I'm just going to go to the story. I'm going to explain what I did. What I felt like I did was initially mean, but I did it. So, I mean, was it really that mean? Was it really that mean? So we're going to dive into it and see what you guys think. I'm going to give my thoughts, share my reflection, and just figure out what I could have done differently and share what I've learned. So today's Wednesday. I'm working from my hotel room because that is where I'm working, and I am basically supposed to be in a hotel right now. So I'm working, and it's about that time for lunch. I'm working hard. I've been working past my normal lunchtime. You could imagine now that I'm starving. I'm starving as can be. So I decide to walk over to the Mexican joint. So I decide to walk over 3 buildings and a large parking lot down the street. I get to the Mexican restaurant. I go in and eat. Everything's delicious. The food was amazing. It's awesome. Mexican food. I'll shut up. Mexican food is great. Anyway, I'm done eating. I bring my extras and I proceed to walk down the street to go back to my room to finish my work. And upon getting to a point at the light, right before I was about to cross the street, I was just about to look both ways right before crossing the street, right? So right when I turn my head, to see if there's any cars coming, I immediately see a car basically almost at the curb, like it's going to turn immediately, right? So I look and I'm like, wow, are you literally in a rush? And I look over at the car while they're proceeding to take their right, barely stopped for the pedestrian that is myself, right? I'm not entitled, but that's usually how traffic signals work, right? Anyway, I look and I follow my eyes to their car as they're going down the parking lot. And I'm like saying out loud, I say, are you in a rush? I'm like, no, okay, all right. So then I proceed walking down the street to the hotel room. And I'm like, I'm gonna follow my eyes to the car because I feel like they're going exactly where I'm going. And what do you know? I get to the parking lot to the hotel and I see the car parked and I'm like, oh my gosh, it was a lady. I was going in there thinking like, let me be petty. Let me be petty. Walk up to the lady and be like, what are you rushing for? So as I was walking, I already had a grin on my face. It's like, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be great. I'm gonna walk up to this lady and I'm gonna be like, what are you rushing for? Are you late for your interview? Are you late to get back to work? Are you really that excited to get back to work? Is this really what's going on? Is this really what we're waiting for? Is this really what you had to turn immediately for and not let the pedestrian go by for? So, I'm walking up the grass. I'm all confident. I'm like, I'm really about to ask this lady, like, what is she rushing for? And then I'm like, nah, that's a little too petty for me. Like, I could do that for you, but girl, you don't need to do that as extra. I think before I do things sometimes, but I did not stop there, right? I walked up, I looked at her, looking at her. Oh, and by the way, I was still walking and she's still at the door because that door, I realized the day before that it doesn't work basically. Like your key will work, but the mechanism to let you in does not work. So she's up there jiggling with the door, looking at it, breathing hard, like, man, I can't open this door. You could see it in her face. She didn't have to speak, but that's what she said because that's what I said. And so I was walking up to her as she was struggling, And then she looked at me. She had that face that said, dang, I can't open this door. And then I smiled, I grinned. I was like, but it wasn't like a me being like, hi, are you okay? It was me like, I'm about to walk right by you knowing that I got a key that works. I was even trying to walk towards her as if she would think that I was going to help her in some way, because I was trying to do that on purpose. Like, that was my intention, to it seemed like I was going to go help her, but I didn't. But then maybe in her head, she didn't think that. Maybe she just, I don't know what she was thinking. Okay, let's ask her. Let's have her on our podcast and ask. But the thing is, I was walking up, saw her, I smiled, jinxed her as if I was going to go over there. And then I proceeded to go to the back of the building to the other door that actually worked. Not sure if she knew there was a back door with another key opener, right? So I did that. And basically, I just watched her struggle. I do feel like she thought I was going to help her. That was my intention, to make her think that I was going to help her. And as I was walking to the back, I was laughing. I'm like, yeah, she thought I was gonna help this lady thought I was really gonna help her after she had disregarded me on the street, right? Anyway, to my defense, even if I did try to help her, that it wouldn't change the fact that my key was gonna open the door. It's not our keys that's the problem. It's the mechanism, the device, right? It was the intention that I had. My intention was to act as if I was going to help her, kind of juke her out in it. Like, we play basketball, right? We know about juking. So I was gonna juke, and I did juke. I said juke. I did that. When I got to my room, I thought about it. I was like, dang. We don't know if anyone saw that. We don't know if she knew that I did that because she knew that she cut me off almost. But as a pedestrian, it's like, still, you didn't have to be that close to me on the curb, though. Like, slow down. Slow down. I proceeded, when I got to my room and started chomping on the rest of my food, I thought, I kind of was feeling bad after that. I'm like, was that mean? Because nobody really saw that. And maybe we don't know if she knew that that was my intention. We don't know that she saw that I was going to help her, but didn't, because of how she saw me and didn't stop. But she wanted to proceed before the pedestrian. We don't know that. I know that, though. I know what my intention was. God knows what my intention was. And my intention was to act like I was going to help, and didn't. I thought about it and reflected on it while I was working. Kind of got distracted because I couldn't focus. I'm like, what does that actually mean? I don't know. But until I started my walk after work at around like 6 p.m. when I had called my cousin, I need your advice, or I need your input. Was this mean? So I explained to her the story. She was like, I've had situations like that. Actually, today, I was a little mean with someone on the phone who just could not understand what I was telling them, and just like had an issue with that today. But I told her the story, and she said that it's a human response to react that way. And she said it wasn't an issue. It's not bad for me to do that. It's like, I didn't do anything bad. It was just, yes, the intention was, a little bit mean. It wasn't mean. The fact that I felt like something like that was mean, I guess isn't. I just don't think it was mean for real. But it also was mean because if you know the intention behind it, then you know it's mean. But sometimes it's just, some people just don't, they just get entitled and they don't care about anybody else. So yes, it's normal for you to want to be like, oh, so now you need help. But after you just cut me off, or after you just shut me out, or after you just, whatever the situation is, it's normal for you to want to be like, well, guess I'm not going to assist you. So there's different degrees of being mean. And some of the level of degree of that mean, I don't think is mean. Okay, you can't just, not everything is so sensitive. Okay, there's a reaction that is warranted, and there are some actions that are just completely unnecessary and far beyond the realms of nice. Or doesn't even have to be nice. It could just be um whatever, right? So basically what I learned, so my initial thoughts was that I had to ask myself, I'm like, dang, was that was that the devil moving through me? Because I don't approve of that. I wouldn't want that. And another thought that I had was, am I not actually as nice as I think I am? And my next thought is, maybe she was late for work, or maybe she was just a regular entitled woman, right? Or maybe I was just gonna ask her, like, maybe she's late for an interview, maybe she's late for getting back to her work because she took too long of a lunch break. I know when you're like me and you get Mexican food, man, you just want to sit down and chew it and enjoy it and drink your horchata and all that. It's just so good. It just, you need more time. So yeah, those were my thoughts. And to my defense, I gave myself some props because I didn't walk that whole entire time being mad and irritated. I didn't have that fiery flame in my chest that made me want to burst into some type of rant while I was walking and enjoying the breeze. No, I had to give myself some kudos. I had to give myself some kudos because I was like, wow, are you in a rush? Got confused for a bit, a little angry for 2 seconds. And then I kept walking. It wasn't until I saw the car and the lady at the door, that's when I was re-triggered and was like, let me ask her, is she rushing for her stories? I don't but I didn't do that, okay. But those were just my initial thoughts. Okay. And basically, what I've learned from that is, again, from the words of my cousin, it's a human reaction to respond that way in situations where you feel like you were disregarded, or well being was a little bit in a state of vulnerability. Like, I'm at the curb. You're not going to wait for me, like the light to turn. You're just not going to wait. Will the pedestrian have the right of way? Do we not do this anymore? But maybe I could have just not even walked that way to even have these questions to begin with. Maybe I could have just used the other entrance. But I really wanted to go there. I did. That's where I think the issue is. That's where I think the evil part is, if it is evil at all. I wanted to. I wanted to do that. I wanted to make, whether she felt it or not, whether it was successful or not, my intention was to make her feel that way. That's where my question is. Am I evil for even wanting to intentionally try to be that petty? And I don't exactly know. And oh, sorry guys. Roy is having a very bad nightmare. Are you okay, Roy? Are my talks of evil intentions making you have a nightmare? I'm so sorry. I will work on that. Thank you for your concern. All right. Anyway, getting back to this, let's just see what the Bible says about doing things out of spite, right? Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what my question was. Maybe that's where the issue is. Maybe that's why I'm questioning it, because I have heard before, if you do things out of spite, it's just simply not good. The Bible condemns the act of doing things in spite of someone, as it is considered a form of malicious intent, driven by anger and a desire to hurt others. Because, like we said, my intention was to be like, oh, am I going to help you? No, I'm not. You thought. And it is not a loving act, but I do feel like it wasn't me doing anything wrong. I literally didn't look. I didn't say a word. It was all action. I didn't say what I was going to initially say, which was, "Oh, are you rushing?" I did not approach her that way. All I did was grin a little bit and then proceed to walk. So the action itself was not evil or bad. It's the intention behind it. And only me and God know what that was. That's why I'm a little like, was this nice? Am I mean? Either way, that's for the Lord to decide, right? Now, let me take a look at my Bible, King James Version. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and slander be put away from you, along with every kind of malice. Be kind and helpful to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, just as God in Christ also forgave. This is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 31 to 32. So we're going to go to Proverbs. Ephesians. Okay, so let's look at a Bible verse that could better explain maybe the feelings that I was having, that you may be having, that relate to the type of intention. It doesn't have to be the specific situation, but it is the intention of just wanting to basically pay back, right? I'm not going to help you open the door, even if I could. I wouldn't, is basically the idea that I had here. Now, Ephesians chapter 4, verse 31 to 32. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God, for Christ's sake, hath forgiven you. So, basically what this is saying in my head, of course, it kind of speaks for itself. Of all Bible verses, this one kind of speaks for itself, right? Bitterness, wrath, and anger, remove it. Put it away. Put it to the side. Don't let that overcome you. Be kind to one another, tender-hearted and forgiving, even as God, for Christ's sake, hath forgiven you. I did not swear. I didn't wish anything bad for that person. I was just caught off guard. And for malice is like the intention of desire to do something evil. In my head, I thought it was evil for me to want to just like not help her. It's not evil. It was just a little mean and uncaring is what I take it as. But still, emphasis on intention. Of course, be kind to one another. I could have actually told her that the door doesn't work, so you might want to walk around so that you won't be wasting your time trying to jiggle at the key. That could be where my kindness could have come in. Because if I were to be kind in that moment, it would reflect forgiveness, because I would have shown that, yeah, you disregarded me, but I forgive you. I'll tell you where the door is. That's where I could have helped. Christ's sake hath forgiven me. Because that's God. Because God has also forgiven me. I had to double check. I had to check myself. It may seem like a tiny little, that may seem not even like a big deal, but it's still applicable to everyday situations, big or small. Now, we could get into some stories where I was really mean and it really shows, but that'll be another story. So, I'd really like to hear some of your guys' story. When have you been spiteful? When have you wanted to just do what we call payback? When did you feel like somebody was disregarding you, disrespecting you? Levels. It could be something as small as what I just shared or deeper. Okay. I'm very interested to see and what your takeaway was from that. Did you check yourself afterwards? Did you feel bad afterwards? Did you try to find reason in the Bible? Did you try to reason with yourself? And I'm very interested to hear these things. But I am trying to figure out what is just human nature, but also what is not you as a person. What is not acceptable to Christ. Because I want to be a good person. I want to be nice. Like, it's normal to have these intentions and feelings, being angry, and all these things are emotions that have been granted upon us. But there's a level or question that I have: at what level does it become not normal or not good? Does it make me a bad person? So, no, I don't think it makes me a bad person, but these are still questions, right? That's it for now. I will be back with another story and another reflection. All right. See you later.
You have been tuned into Terra on the Bench, the place for unique and powerful storytelling and sharing of experiences for self-improvement and to inspire and motivate. Please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel and online newsletter for uplifting videos, blog posts, and discussion threads. Share your experiences with Terra and the community and have fun.